Hey, Dane here. Welcome back to Outcast Haven. This is episode 2 of the Outcast Haven podcast. And with me today, I've got Blake.
How's it going?
We got Mark.
Hey, everybody.
And Jason.
Welcome back.
Just to hit on a couple administrative points here, we've got 2 different podcasts that we're kind of putting out under the same banner. We've got this podcast going to touch mainly on Fab. That's going to be weekly, and we're going to release that every Friday morning. And then every other week, at the same time as this podcast being put out, we're going to be putting out a DBS podcast. So that's going to run about an hour. This one will be typically probably 30 to 40 minutes, we're thinking. Today's episode, we're going to cover basically the new set, talk about some Crucible, see what our thoughts are on that, get a little into the different spoilers that have been revealed so far, and the release schedule, how we kind of feel about that, and how they're handling the release of the spoilers, and then a little surprise at the end that we're putting together for the community to help that grow, because, you know, in a budding community like this, as content creators putting out stuff now, I think that there's a little bit of like a responsibility. I know we're all super excited to actually get stuff put out that's going to help contribute to the community, aside from, you know, us thinking that our voices sound really pretty and wanting people to listen to them. So talk about that at the end as well. So stick around for that. Be sure to like and subscribe and enjoy the podcast. So, guys, first point, we got Crucible coming out. How do people feel about how Legend Story Studios is kind of breaking out their sets? I think hitting on the breakdown of like this first block. I know for me personally, I like the idea of 2 major sets or 2 main sets and then a supplementary set personally. But I mean, what do you guys think about how they've kind of broken down their distribution of that?
Yeah. Do you mind if I kick us off?
Yeah, go for it.
So here's I love this game. I love what they're doing. I love the website, but I'm going to give you my negatives on the new distribution. So starting off, we're cutting down to 10 cards. What do we have? 8 commons, 2 rares, and a foil, correct?
Oh, we're
right
talking,
there?
you're talking about like specifically for the packs for Crucible.
Yeah, for packs.
Okay.
So that's the biggest thing that's come out from them.
Yep.
So when we cut that down, looking at from a booster box perspective, to get a full play set of commons, we're looking at 3 boosters probably minimum, correct? If you look at the math behind it and the odds of getting the cards.
8 classes. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at 8 classes and 1 generic. So to me, you step outside that and look at just the ninja character alone, the way they combo everything together. So they have more cards that if you don't run ninja, that's a lot of wasted cards that you're going to get in these packs.
Yeah. Okay, so I like this. So this
yeah.
is a good point, Jason. Bring it up. There are, you know, no one's perfect. There's always like gripes or concerns in the community. So I think addressing those up front, probably smart. Get that out of the way, because there's lots of really good things to say. So we're
positive.
We're going to be getting to that for sure. So we'll just deviate from that, and we'll hit this quick, because it's a fair point. I mean, they're literally cutting a third of their pack out and then still charging the same, right?
Right.
I offer a counterpoint, but before that, Blake, you were about to say something, so you can jump back in here.
Yeah. I mean, so far, they've done a really good job as far as the distribution in the packs. Sometimes in games, you get packs, you open them, and you can be disappointed with the way that they distribute them. Maybe get too much of one color or too much of a class or too much of a type. Versus so far in this, it feels like if you open a couple boxes of a set, you get a pretty good amount of play sets of commons and uncommons. You get a lot of the rares and things. So you're not going to be too disappointed. I'm curious if they didn't do some math on the ninja setup and maybe distribute that appropriately, instead of just saying there's an even number of every card in every pack. There, you're going to get, you know what I mean? Doing just basic math. It's very likely that they could have added that in and said, hey, you know what? Ninja players might just have to work a little harder to get their cards. And I think that's okay. I wouldn't doubt it. At the same time, I think having the classes, one of the things that's cool about it and something we've experienced as players and as a group is the trading in this game, as far as like commons and uncommons, foils and things like that go, those non-big money cards, it's cool because if you have a local community or a group of guys that play together, a group of people that play, it offers an opportunity to do some trading and swapping just straight across the board, like common for common or foil for foil, versus some games where you don't need that, or you need way more than that and you're forced to buy singles.
Right, but you want to make sure that, because a lot of people will go, well, I'm just gonna buy singles because of the distribution of the packs, even if it is even. I'm gonna get, maybe I play 2 classes, so I have 6 to 8 wasted cards per pack. So that is my only concern with this new one. And then the fact we're cutting down from 15 to 10, and I know it was difficult in the last sets to buy 2 boosters and get a full set of commons, and you need the commons to build out your set. If you look at Yu-Gi-Oh, the big 3, Yu-Gi-Oh's 9 per pack, Magic the Gathering's 15 with 32 packs per booster, and then Pokemon's at 10 cards, and then our DBS, which is a top 5 collectible card games, at 12. So I mean, they're not out of the realm at 10. It's just, to start at 15 and then go down and not have a price decrease or anything different is just a little disappointing, but I think I'll probably get over it.
Yeah. Mark, you got any thoughts on it?
I agree. I was trying to look here quick, I guess. Did they confirm that this is how it will be going forward, or it doesn't have anything to do with the supplemental packs?
It's a supplemental thing. And
it's just a supplemental.
So they didn't I haven't read anywhere that it is confirmed that it's not going to be this going forward, but they have made it pretty clear. They have made it pretty clear in the article that they just released that their intent with reducing the number of cards in the packs is to give people less bulk. Because this set, if you think about it, supplemental, it's going to be like a lot of it's going to be equipments. Like, yes, some of the spoilers that we've seen so far have been for class-specific cards. They're releasing class-specific cards in this set. But a large amount of it is going to be armor, weapons, stuff that you don't want to see 4 of, 5 of. So why would you include those slots in the pack still? So I get that in that regard. So I think that remembering what the set actually is going to be makes me a little less concerned about that, especially because so far from what we've seen of them, they are very deliberate about how they are distributing the cards that they're putting out in their boosters. So if it was just like willy-nilly and like you would get 5 of the same card in a pack in set 1 and then set 2, and then all of a sudden set 3 comes along and they cut a third of the pack out, I'd be like, oh, what are we going to get? This is crazy. But they've been really, I think, pretty deliberate. So
I think, do you think they'll go up to 15 again? Because with the way the article read, it said that we're going with the industry standard, which leads me to believe that if they're quoting industry standard, that's a moving forward. That's how they're going to move forward with it.
I mean, that's
kind of how I took it. I just don't get like what was there, if they already knew the industry standard, but when they started making the game, did they purposely kind of make the packs bigger just to like stand out, get people started into it and then switch, or did they honestly not plan to drop down, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. And I suppose I read it as that was them alleviating concern for a 10-card pack. I didn't read it as, hey, this is what our new standard is going to be because it's, along the lines of the industry standard. I read it as, hey, it's a 10-card pack for this next set, but that's industry standard, so we're not really concerned about not giving our players bang for their buck. I didn't read it as, this is the new standard that we're going to be going by. But it could be. I don't know. That's a fair point.
I think that'll be a big question going forward, is if it adjusts. I think to Dane's point, in this set, it makes sense, especially if they adjust their pack distribution algorithms or however they distribute the things. As long as that stuff's adjusted and you don't end up with 6 chest armor pieces
exactly
in a couple packs, that would be incredibly disappointing. As long as they do a good job of adjusting the algorithms for distribution, I'm okay with it. I would prefer they go back to the 15 because it helps. It requires less boxes in order to get your common playset, and then maybe from that point on, you're just buying for trade fodder or maybe to hit that home run legendary or something.
I'm holding out hope that they thought this through a little bit. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna hold out faith that they realize that this set is not going to have a ton of cards that have play sets of said card. They've got a lot of cards that are going to be weapons. I don't want to be sitting on 7 rare samurai swords. I'd much rather have it just be less cards, honestly, because throwing away bulk always feels bad, and I always feel a little guilty. But
I will end on one positive on this.
Wait, you threw bulk away? My wife wishes I did.
Yeah.
Is the fact that unlike our other game, DBS, where we had a release in August, a release in September. Oh, wait, no, July, August, September, October.
Yeah.
So that's one booster, $70 per box. We don't have to worry about that. So I don't feel bad buying 4 booster boxes of this, knowing that I don't have to buy any more until first quarter of next year. So I can stock up, have fun, crack some packs. So that's a positive, is that we're not going to get bombarded 2 more times at this year with booster packs.
The only other thing I can think of, though, is that, as they brought up in this set, since it is a supplementary set, you basically can't draft with it, right? Or sealed.
Yep.
So I know for us, we did it. It's okay. We're not going to probably be incredibly saddened if we can't. But I know some people in certain games, that's like what they look forward to. That's their big thing. So that's my only other thought, is if that, kind of makes people upset or not. But I guess we don't know, because we don't, in our group, it's not like a big deal. But
if they do 3 sets a year where you can draft and 1 set where you can't, that's a chance to nod the casual player who enjoys drafting, but then nod the competitive player who wants more stuff for their deck, more toys to build out a deck. I think that's a good balance. It's fine. 75% casual, kitchen top friendly, and then 25% kind of geared towards the competitive is a really healthy place for a game to be.
My only thought is has any other big time games done that strategy? Do you know of any other ones?
I mean so DBS, what we play, DBS has full-on sets quarterly, and then in between they do effectively supplementary sets. They're sets to bolster the card pool, anniversary boxes. They do they do reprints and things like that. So they definitely don't have a regular schedule of big set releases. They don't release a set every month. Every 3 months they release a set, and then in between they release supplementary product, which I think is what most big games do. Is they have their big set releases, and then they do reprints or anniversary items or specialty boxes that are just intended to kind of put more cards in the card pool or reprint things that are hard to find for players.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we probably hammered that, but good. I mean, obviously good concern brought up by Jason, because that's cutting a third of a pack out, and that's pretty drastic. But I think that there's some rationale behind it. We'll see what ends up happening in the long run. But kind of wrapping it back around to my initial point, since we've been talking about how there's the 2 main sets and the 1 supplementary set, my initial question was, how we feel about the way that they're breaking down these blocks. Like, is the distribution of their main sets and then going into a supplementary set, is that something that you're enjoying so far? Is that something that you think is, Blake kind of already hit on it, I suppose, so he kind of answered my question up front, but any other thoughts, any last thoughts before we move on?
My only thought would be, and maybe they'll do this going forward, is as they increase the class sizes, when you do these supplementary boxes, maybe you do a smaller run of only certain classes. I don't know if that's something they've considered, but maybe you just do the first Wraith set in one, and then the Arcane set in another. I'm not sure how that would look, or doing your specialty boxes like Blake was speaking of.
I think maybe another way to do it would be to sell 2 separate boxes at the same release. So it's considered the same block, but you have to buy, and obviously you're not going to please everybody. You're not going to please all people all the time. But if they release something that maybe they had 1 specialty box for a supplementary set that leaned into Wizard and Rune Blade and Warrior, and then another one you could purchase if you played Brute and Guardian, some players are going to have to buy both. But then it does allow maybe some of your casual players and some of the people who don't want to buy a crazy amount of product, like what they always refer to in a card game world as whales. People who aren't going to buy everything and have a complete collection, you would maybe allow them to just buy the box that has their specific class in it that they like to play.
Yeah, I think that comes with. Sorry, Jason. I'm just going to make a quick point. So I think that comes with being built up a little bit too as a company, like being able to accommodate that sort of distribution. Because as it stands right now, they're a newer company, just getting their feet under them in the card gaming world, and it's growing really quickly, and it's super promising. But I think that it might be a little bit before. I mean, unless they've totally got their ducks in a row and are just nailing it as far as working with distribution partners and making sure that they can accommodate that, because that'd be great to see. It'd be awesome if it was okay. Like, I know I play Ninja and I know I play Runeblade. So next set drops and they've got 4 different boxes and they've got them all packaged separately. All the commons are the same, or all the generics are the same, but this box comes with the Ninja. Like, you still open your packs, still see what you get for Ninja, but that's what that is. Like, that'd be cool. That'd be an interesting way to handle that.
Time will tell. They'll ever do that far.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
but
I think that'd be years down the road, like Magic does with, you can buy a set at your local department store of just red and green cards that will come in it.
Oh,
you can
right.
buy just that.
It's a huge undertaking. Yeah, it's a huge undertaking for a company to do that kind of distribution. It absolutely is. But at the same time, they've proven so far that they have thought way ahead. So I think that just comes down to how realistic it is as far as their interaction with the distribution companies and the companies who produce the sets for them.
Yeah. Well, moving on to the next topic then, since we kind of hit this one in the ground too. Spoilers. Spoiler season. I think that, we all kind of got a little taste of it with the Gambler's Gloves and mentioned that in our last week's episode. But seeing now what's been coming out, I'm really excited. As I just mentioned, I'm a Runeblade guy. So seeing the new toys for Viscerai is going to be super interesting. I'm going to butcher it. Maruvian.
Maruvian sounds close to Peruvian. I don't know if that's
Mauvrian.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Mauvrian.
Or whatever it is. The skies. That looks really interesting. So I think that might add some threat there. Just that the giving go again and creating additional rune chance is something that the deck's been missing for sure. So excited for that. But any other thoughts on the spoilers that we've seen so far? Anything that you're particularly excited for?
Dane, I want your opinion on this. So if you're putting that card into your deck, Mavrian Skies, I will call it.
Yeah, here, I'll throw it up on the screen right now.
What are you thinking? 3 red, 3 blue? What would your initial mix be?
It's a good question. I tend to start balanced, and then I'll start toying with it from there. But creating 3 rune chance is so good. I tend to lean a little bit more towards the red, like yellow red in my Runeblade, just because, especially with the new weapon that's coming out, man, that is like it's a 1 cost, which is great, and it has like the cool static effect of not letting people that have more health than someone else gain health, which is cool. But it's 1 cost, 3 damage. And I put in the group chat how, like, the comparison and the breakdown, how they have so many different toggles to balance things, how that's a 1 cost for 3 damage with that static effect. But then the Runeblade is a 2 cost, 1 base, could be 4 damage, and creates a rune chance. So it's like 2 different ways to handle that. So with the 1 cost weapon being able to swing for 3, I think you can get away with a little less resources. And a lot of the Runeblade stuff comes down for free given the creation of rune chance. So I think I'd probably go red, honestly, to answer your question in a lot of words.
No blues?
Nah, I don't think I run much of any blue. I actually trying to think off the top of my head what I run blue in my Runeblade, and it's not a ton, if at all.
It's exciting to see that that's a card right off the bat that's going to put that extra pressure on right away in games that Runeblade doesn't have right now. So I think it's nice to see that deck's going to get a nice boost in power.
Yeah. All right. I'm throwing the Reaping Blade up on screen right now too, just because there she is. So, fun fact about this blade. I'm not even going to say I love the lore, because I think everyone knows I love the lore. But the blade is literally a cultist spine that Viscerai rips out of his back, and the Aether, or his runic energy, basically infuses it and turns it into this weapon that he just brutalizes people with. That's super satisfying. I love that they're doing like that much in-depth lore in the background. I get kind of giddy when I read that stuff. But yeah. So, other spoilers. What are other people excited for?
I know for me it was seeing Dauntless for Warrior. I thought that's a really powerful tool to finish. In a deck, a lot of times, that turn where nothing feels worse than setting up a turn, feeling like you're ready to punish somebody, and then they just drop like a a 3-cost staunch response and just absolutely make you sad, and you're like, great, I just didn't punch. So Dauntless says your next weapon attack this turn gains +3. The next defense reaction card the defending hero plays this turn costs an additional pitch to play. Go again. So the ability to have somebody set up their hand, block everything, think they're ready to take that 6 off the table that you're throwing at them with this +3, and then to be able to just punish them and say, great, you kept a 3 pitch card and you kept the cost of it in your hand. Well, guess what? Now it's 4 and you just don't have it anymore.
You're losing another card at the very least.
Yeah. It makes the deck have a little more oomph. And then a lot of times that's the difference between winning and losing games, because you're able to just take all the cards out of someone's hand, or they get absolutely punished for 5 or 6 or 7. So they have to make that decision where they either forego their turn, or they are put in a position where they take just a pile of damage.
Oh, yeah.
My exact words, I was talking with a coworker who happens to play Fab as well. That card comes out, we're on the phone talking work, and I'm like, this card is absolutely broken in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
The fact that it doesn't need to hit to make that pitch increase is amazing. That's amazing. So if they they're arsenalized with like the unmovable staunch responses that you see, they might not be able to block it. They might have the pitch, because if you hit big enough for the first time, you might not have the pitch to pay for a big block the second swing.
That's actually a good point. I didn't even read it that way, Jason. But you're talking, because it says the next defense reaction the defending player plays this turn.
Right. It doesn't have to be
on this. Well, that doesn't have to be on this attack even, because it's
right.
So you just swing with the blade, just her Dawn Blade or whatever, and
right. And then you're adding the counters to the Dawn Blade.
Big, yeah. You hit something big later that turn that they're saving for. That's kind of cool. I like that a lot.
The fact that the Dawn Blade ticks up when it deals damage is so big, because this forces people to make those decisions where now they're in a weird spot where maybe you hit more consistently with it because you're forcing more cards out of hand on the first one, for more cards out on the second one, and it's able to just ramp what you're trying to accomplish with Dorinthia anyway. So it's such a strong card. It feels really strong in the deck, and especially because I think the red it's a card that you want to play in red. You accept that 1 pitch value for that +3, because that +3 is just so strong.
Well, I think it gets a lot of small attacks too, to the point where it takes multiple defense. That's the thing, is the people talk about hitting those golden, 4 being that golden number. So I guess maybe the yellow too, because the yellow is a +2, getting your 2 attack up to a 4, kind of hitting that golden sweet spot. Yellow's probably pretty playable too.
I think yellow's totally playable. I think red is the finish version for sure, because if you can build up Dawn Blade for a couple of turns and then pump it up to +3, and then the next defense reaction costs an extra 1, it just makes for that. It makes that ability to maybe turn that Dawn Blade that is, not insanely powerful, but is powerful because of volume. It makes it even more powerful, because now you're just increasing its power.
I have an instant hot take with some points that you guys made just now.
Okay.
With going red, heavy red, both of you said heavy red, right? But now we have 3 rune chants being made on 1 attack that hits. Your pitch value and having those resources are going to be a big thing. And if everybody starts running red, they're not going to be able to block the arcane damage. So I believe decks are going to have to be modified with this new set. With rune chants, we haven't seen what Wizard's going to have, but I think you can't run big, huge red. Right now, Ninja's huge red.
Run a majority of red,
yeah. I think you're going to have to change. Isn't Ninja mostly red?
Oh, blue.
Oh, I don't. Sorry, I don't play. But Dorinthia is majority red. I mean, she's got a very low amount of blue. Yeah.
So Dorinthia is one of those. I love her art, dude. The art on her cards speaks to me, but the deck itself and playstyle does not click, and it saddens me, because I would love to play that aesthetic. I think that the Oriental aesthetic is probably my favorite, I've mentioned to the group, but Dorinthia's art is gorgeous.
You
happy.
need a room with Dorinthia. Are you okay over there,
Come
Dane?
on now.
I'm just
My
happy
girlfriend
because getting
listens to this.
into
You that.
getting into the game, I think it always helps to get into a game. For me, I'm a big theme player, so having some lore is helpful, but also aesthetic is a big part of it. And I love the aesthetic of Dorinthia and I love the aesthetic of Dash, and they're both decks that I really enjoy the play style of. So it's just that win-win situation where love the aesthetic, love the deck style. I'm a happy person.
Yep.
I'm a real happy player.
All right, Mark. What about you? You've been sitting quietly, patiently. Any thoughts? Any cards that stand out to you?
There's nothing revealed yet for Brute. That's what I've been mostly playing. So
there's one thing.
There's one thing.
One thing, Mark.
What is it,
the
Mark?
one thing.
The one thing.
It's Doot the Brute.
Say that again, because I want to get a good soundbite of you going, Doot the Brute.
Doot the Brute.
If they weren't specifically referred to as brutes, if it just didn't rhyme, I have no problem with his name being Doot. It's just so bad. I don't know.
Oh, you're not a fan of it?
I think the art. No, I'm not a fan.
Oh, okay.
Is it because it rhymes with toot?
I think the art.
Toot.
The art is badass. I think he looks just awesome. Everyone's talking about it on Facebook. He's just pretty sweet looking, but I don't know. It just seems too gimmicky and cheesy to me. Dude, the Brute.
It's to balance him out. It's like everybody has that one friend that's huge that you call tiny or something.
Yeah.
It was the balancing. It's too intimidating to sit that card across the table and not have to make the Brute player go, I'll be playing Doot today.
So, all right. I think it's a placeholder. Every other champion or every other character has a thing to them, right? Like young Katsu. Is it Katsu or is it?
No, it's just so Dash is Dash, and then when she ages, it's Dash Inventor Extraordinaire.
Oh, okay. So and Doot's a young one. So maybe it is.
It
just
also
Doot.
Seems weird he'd be the young one. He's
what's he look like when he grows up?
Yeah, it's horrifying to think what he can be.
God,
the art on that is amazing. Get me a playmat immediately.
So I love how that art tells a story. You can literally look at that picture and see exactly what played out prior to that happening. Ready? So let me set a scene. There's a guy, and all of a sudden, a hammer or whatever that weapon is, the pole arm pike, whatever it is, that swings through, goes through his head, through the helmet that he's wearing on his head, gets pulled up through the top of his head. Doot swings it back, and then the helmet spins down around the end of that hammer pike thing, and then he grabs the dude's gaping head wound. It tells that whole story just from that art. You can tell what happened. That's so cool.
Dane, you lost me at Doot. What was that again?
Yeah.
And then Doot.
What's his name? The scared villager runs in. But what's the guy's name? It's Doot. That's when everybody turns around, laughs, and starts drinking their beers down.
And then he grabs their gaping head wounds and says, "Make fun of my name one more time."
Yeah.
That's why he became a big angry Brute, is because his parents named him Doot. He was a nice, kind kid. People made fun of him all the time. He's like, "That's it. It's time to murder. I'm going to destroy humanity because of what they've done to me."
Think it's actually his name?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Will he look the same as Reinhardt? Are they all going to be similar? He's just randomly massive. They haven't showed him with no armor, right?
Oh yeah, no, but they did say that they were going to un-region lock classes for this set. So there's going to be classes that Guardians are not region locked to Arya. So not every Guardian is going to come from the same place that Bravo comes from. So
I think I know how he got his name.
Oh,
his dad is the dad in the Johnny Cash song "A Boy Named Sue." Same dad.
A boy named
Doot.
A boy named Doot. I think we found the podcast
A boy
title.
named Doot.
So
a boy named Doot.
A boy named Doot. And that fits right in with our theme for titling our podcasts after classic songs.
Absolutely.
So
a boy named Doot.
Welcome to episode 2. A boy named Doot.
A boy named Doot. Yeah. So I didn't actually get a screen grab of Doot because there's no actual card, but that art.
The art is
unbelievable. Yeah.
I will say this: if you haven't seen Doot, do you even play Fab? I mean,
bro, do you even Doot?
Do you
even Doot?
Do you even Doot? Oh gosh. All right.
We're glad you love the name, Mark. We're happy you love the name.
I can't tell if he's
it's
frozen
so
or
great
mean
that
mugging us. So, any last thoughts on spoilers so far before moving on?
No. I think they've done a good job so far, letting stuff out, and we've got a while left for the set to come out, so they don't need to do. I don't want them to open the floodgates and just unleash everything.
Yeah, I know. Mark had actually mentioned that he wanted to hit a little bit on the schedule, like how it actually is, the pacing of it. So if you wanted to.
Yeah, I guess I just figured. I think so far this whole setup now, where they have the page with all the cards they will release, and they slowly put them on there, seems like a pretty great setup. Makes sense. It's very like professional compared to some other card games we've seen. But I just think, especially if the sets aren't, they're not 2 months apart like DBS or whatever. Just why not give us some earlier? As far as us with the podcast, or just even there isn't locals right now. But if you got your locals and they release them each week, it's like, oh hey guys, look at the new card. You excited for the next set? Instead of like now, it's like, you kind of almost can't help but be excited for the set because it's so close. Like it doesn't. It's great to get the spoilers, but it's kind of like it's just inevitable now. You don't need to be reminded. It's so close. I don't know. That's my thought. Like, just why not go, farther out?
Yeah, that's fair.
See, I think the other three of us, play DBS, and in DBS, it's funny because like in Fab, they're like, it's spoiler season. We're getting ready, and like Jason said, every 3 months they have a set release. So spoiler season is an actual season. You've been waiting 2 months to see a spoiler, whereas in DBS it's like, hey, here's a set, here's a spoiler for the next set. You get the cards, and then literally 12 minutes later you're getting spoilers for the next set. So I'm used to like the fast paced, just give me spoilers all the time, give me spoilers. Like I don't even need, the set is coming, but go ahead and just spoil them. I actually think one of the things Jason has said before to the group that is kind of relevant is, I kind of wish some of these games would not give me everything. I don't want to see everything. I love opening packs. I am 100% your stereotypical card game player. Opening packs is the best part. I don't even care if I play the game competitively. I can casually play a game, and I just want to open packs because it's the most fun thing to just like slowly go through. Where's that shiny? Oh, the shiny looks so good. It's just, that's like, there's a sensation about that as a card game player that never gets old. So if there was an unknown quantity to some of these packs, and then I think even social media, it wouldn't be the worst thing for a card game to have some cards that just popped up on social media with people going, I got one of the cards that I didn't see in a spoiler. Oh my God, did you see this card? It's insane. That would be a really cool experience that you don't get in modern card games because everyone just spoils everything ahead of time.
Yeah.
I also think that when you look at the Q&A, they talked about the meta in certain classes jumping up ahead. So I don't know the production and the run times and the print schedules that they have to get them to the printers to be able to make that deadline and do the distribution coming out of Belgium. But they may have held back on certain classes to see what the meta is doing. What are the builders doing? How are they creating these decks so that they can counter that to give more options and to not have a dash controlled meta? Maybe that is another reason why they held off on spoilers, is because they didn't have all the cards made.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point.
Doubt it.
We don't,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I kind of agree
a little
with Mark.
bit the Q&A.
The distribution would be tough to be
that short,
holding back that short.
Yeah.
It could affect
not to now, but they might have been done 60 days ago versus 120 or 180 days ago.
Yeah. I don't know print schedules, obviously, that's not my thing.
Sounds like
that's kind of what I mean. Is
that's
just
your
like
homework, Jason, for next time with all your free time that you got.
Yeah.
It's like, it's such a ways out to the next one. We're getting a set in August. They don't have to give us, spoilers even in September, but if we don't get the next set till January, February, how about November? They start giving us some, that'd be kind of cool. Whereas this, like I said, it's 2 weeks, I don't know. That's my thought. Just something else to keep people talking about it, thinking about it.
I don't know if I like, so DBS, I feel like we've got two ends of the spectrum with DBS and then with Fab, where DBS is you get a set, and then 2 days later, the spoilers for the next set are going to be dropping for the next month and a half.
Isn't that just because the next set comes out so much sooner? That's
yeah,
what I mean.
Like a month
in
and a half,
DBS,
probably
your
in between.
next set would be
usually
2
4 to
months
6
in
weeks.
October.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4 months in
sooner.
between.
So if you got 4 or 5
4
months
weeks
with no product,
yeah. I think to Mark's point, if they used the DBS release schedule, which again, the next set or the next release is usually 4 to 6 weeks, but that's why they're kind of forced into it, is because they don't have a huge gap. But the reality is it keeps the player base interested. If you didn't get something in this set, it does get you to maybe stick it through a meta that you're not a huge fan of, because your favorite class might be getting something next set. And again, I think to Mark's point, I don't think you necessarily have to do it if it's 3 or 4 months until the next set. I don't think that means you have to release it 2 weeks after the release of this set, because it's going to take a little while for this to get out there and people to figure out what the meta is and those kind of things. But maybe halfway through, you release a little bit here and there, and maybe you do it based on the weaker classes. Maybe you give some spoilers to those weaker classes, so that way people who like them and are just grinding through games, getting absolutely pummeled all the time, maybe they get their hopes up. You give them a little light at the end of the tunnel. There's like, okay, I see the rainbow. I just got to get to the pot of gold. Like, I just have to get to the release.
Yeah, and it's like Azalea, for example. I actually love playing that deck, and it would be really, really nice. And I think a lot of people really like to play that deck, but I can't get through it and be competitive at this time. And it'd be nice to get to see that spoiler some of the worst, like you said, show us some of the decks that aren't doing good at all. Doomblade not doing great for spoiler. Dorinthia, it's a top 5 deck a lot a lot of times.
It's usually consistent.
Top 3 probably, right?
Yeah, it does very well. Let's see some of the. So I like that idea. Give us the weak deck spoilers.
Yes.
I don't care about any of that. Show me Ninja.
Give me all that steampunk aesthetic.
Yeah, I just want to see more stuff with Doot. Speaking of, I'm throwing him on screen right now just because that art is fire, and I want to be able to show people what I was talking about. Like, if you look, you can see where the thing went through his head, and he just yanked it out the top. It's cool. All right, so on to what I alluded to at the beginning of the podcast, talking about our community opportunity here. So we're putting together a Discord where we're going to have people that are subscribers, followers, just friends, whatever it may be, wanting to put together a place where we can all get together in our free time, and whether it's webcam, whether it's TTS, just provide sort of that central hub, because there's not a lot of that right now. And actually, I think probably the biggest contributor to me thinking of this and talking to you guys about it was just like the New Zealanders posting that they're running that TTS event because their stuff got canceled. And I think that how has that not happened yet stateside? How have we not gotten I mean, all the other games that we played, it seemed like there was some sort of Discord server where people could gather and play, or just honestly chat on throughout the day. So we're making it because I haven't seen it. Maybe it exists and I'm just blind to the world, but yeah, we just want to be able to have a place where we can all gather and chat. So
we need it. I mean, we need to have it just as a standpoint of players that don't get to play against the top players that are in New Zealand right now. We don't really have locals stateside, period, anywhere. Nowhere is really doing much. So I think it's something we need because it'll help evolve a meta too. You'll get different point of views because we might play cards differently than how they play in New Zealand. It just happens in every card game like that. You have different metas at different part of the world. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to play against people all over the world.
I think another key is Dane didn't say it 100%, but he never said the opposite, which is the one thing we want to be clear on is that it's going to be free. It's going to be for the community. It's going to be something we just want to advocate for growing a community. That's something that we've talked about from the get-go, which is I don't blame anybody in other games. I don't put anybody down for doing their paywall stuff. That's their prerogative if they want to. But we're players 100% of the way. We want to play and we want to see the community grow. We're firm believers in the community. So we'll get the invites out there and we'll give people opportunities. And there's nothing you got to do. Just join it, be a part of it, join the community, grow the game. We just want to see Fab have a long and healthy life. That's important to us.
Yeah, for sure. That's about it for this episode. That wraps up all my talking points. No one has anything else.
Just thank you to the people that commented on our gameplay videos that appreciated we appreciate that feedback a lot. It's very rewarding when you say you learned something from our gameplay videos, and it put a smile on all our faces. So thank you for that.
Jason said it earlier in the week when we saw the comments, or we've seen some of the comments, which is for us, it's not that whole thing where like, oh man, I'm so happy people like our voice or like our videos so we can get famous. It's the fact that we've had a lot of people who have invested time and energy to create content that has helped us as players, and it's our opportunity to give back, which is why we want to do the Discord, which is why we want to put the videos out. We want to talk the game because we're grateful for everything that everybody else has put in as far as their energy and time, whether it's this game or another game. So we're just ready to pour our heart and souls into growing the Fab community. And
it's fun, man. Like, genuinely, like, this is a good opportunity for us to sit down and talk.
It's just nice that we agree 100% on everything.
Oh, yeah.
We talk
Especially Jason and I, we agree on everything and never butt heads, which is fantastic.
We've never had a disagreement.
We're all pro Doot.
Doot is the best one ever. I mean, if there's one takeaway from this episode, is that Doot is like the best choice of name ever.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mark,
Doot 2020. 2020 Doot.
Oh, man.
Doot and Reinhardt 2020.
Doot.
I think that's too political. I think we're getting too... As vaguely political as that is, I think that's too much. Everyone, thanks for watching. We appreciate you taking the time to listen to us and our thoughts, and hope that you got something out of this. We thoroughly enjoy putting this type of stuff out. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, and check us out on Facebook, where it's very possible you're seeing this link being posted. We are on Podbean. You can find that link down in the description, as well as iTunes down in the description. So look for our podcast there, both Fab and DBS. You'll notice in the names, it's kind of how we're differentiating them, because we're putting them all under the one Outcast Haven banner. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Peace.
And Mark, I just want to congratulate you on not uttering the word destiny for the whole podcast. Thanks for watching.